What if the music you hear becomes the voice not just of one island, but of millions around the world? He started with nothing but a dream, a guitar, and a voice. Today, that voice echoes across stadiums in London, New York, and Kingston. But behind every global hit lies a story of sacrifice, heartbreak, and unbreakable spirit. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see Chronixx not just as a reggae artist, but as a modern legend who carried the weight of his heritage to reshape global music forever. Jamaica, a small island with outsized cultural influence. Reggae, dancehall, roots, conscious lyrics, it's a musical crucible. From Bob Marley to Peter Tosh, U-Roy to Dennis Brown, Jamaica has birthed voices that resonated globally. Into this rich heritage was born Chronixx-born Jamar Rolando McNaughton on October 10, 1992, in the coastal parish of St. Andrew, Jamaica. He grew up influenced by both the legacy of roots reggae and the shifting sounds of modern dancehall. But between those two worlds, he carved out something new, a bridge, a sound that honored tradition, yet spoke to a fresh generation. What made Chronixx different wasn't just his voice, but his message: socially conscious lyrics, calls for unity, healing, awareness. In an era when some reggae is diluted by pop influences, he revived its soul. But his path was not a straight line. He'd face doubt, battle record label politics, struggle for recognition outside Jamaica, and fight for creative control. Today, we'll walk that journey, the triumphs, the pitfalls, and see how Chronixx became a movement. Later, you'll hear how one rejected demo almost ended his career. But that same track would become a turning point. Don't skip ahead. The twist is worth the wait. Childhood and musical roots. Jamar was born into modest circumstances. His mother worked hard to support the family. His father, a musician himself, introduced young Jamar to records, instruments, and the freedom of musical expression. It was in small moments, humming along, strumming guitar, where the seed was planted. But the real training ground wasn't school. It was the streets, local sound systems, church choirs, community gatherings. He listened to vintage reggae vinyls, soaked in roots culture, and studied voices. First performances and struggles. As a teenager, he started performing at local shows, talent contests, even impromptu open mic nights. He recorded rough demos, sent them to producers, hoping one would stick. Some ignored him, others said, "Nice voice, but not marketable." It's in these rejections that many give up. But Jamar, later Chronixx, kept pushing. He adopted the stage name Chronixx, a nod to chronometer, time, and to represent timing, consistency, evolution. The XX is symbolic, the unknown, the infinite. Breakthrough Demo 1. Pivotal demo changed everything. He recorded Behind Curtain, or another early track, in a small studio and sent it out. Most passed it over, but one respected producer heard its rawness and potential. He offered to produce it further, fix the mix, help it reach radio. This was the first crack in the door. That one demo, rejected by many, would later become his signature sound. And when it finally broke through, it changed the trajectory of reggae in the 2010s. Early singles and Buzz. Chronixx's early singles: Smile Jamaica, Here Comes Trouble, Skankin Sweet, began gaining traction locally and in diaspora communities in Europe and North America. His voice was familiar, yet fresh. His lyrics balanced uplift and activism, romance and resistance. Radio stations in Jamaica and the UK picked up tracks. Playlists in London and Toronto began rotating him. Reggae forums buzzed. His name spread like wildfire among roots reggae lovers. First international steps. A turning moment came with his performance at a major festival, e.g. Rotterdam Sunsplash, Rebel Salute, or UK reggae festivals. On that stage, he commanded thousands, many who had never heard him before. The press took notice. He toured Europe, opening for established reggae acts, playing small clubs, building grassroots followings. In the US, he performed at reggae nights, festivals, connecting with diaspora audiences longing for conscious voice. Debut album and critical acclaim. His first full-length project, e.g. Chronology in 2017, received praise for blending roots authenticity with modern production, for its lyricism, for its emotional transparency. Critics said, "This is the next wave of reggae." He began collaborating with producers, gaining access to larger studios, refining his sound, but always holding on to his message. The tension with commercialism. Here's where conflict steps in. As he gained recognition, record labels, promoters, even some managers pressured him to dilute political content, make radio-friendly tracks, shift toward pop reggaeton features, adopt trends foreign to his identity. Chronixx resisted. He insisted on creative control. He refused projects that went against his values. That resistance cost opportunities, but preserved his voice. In a moment, you'll hear how he walked away from a $1 million deal because it threatened his soul. That decision would define his legacy, industry pushback, and label struggles. Like many artists, Chronixx had to navigate deals, contracts, producers wanting ownership stakes, interference in track selection. He sometimes lost songs, had unreleased material, or was asked to compromise. He was criticized by some purists who said his style was too modern, too polished. Others dismissed him as a crossover reggae artist trying to mainstream. Personal trials behind the scenes, he dealt with the stress of touring, homesickness, pressure to meet expectations. There were creative doubts. Is my voice good enough? Will this matter in 10 years? He also faced the responsibility of being a voice for his people. In moments of world trauma, social injustice, climate change in Jamaica, violence, fans looked to him for commentary. That role weighed heavily. Artistic evolution. Rather than remaining static, Chronixx evolved. He experimented, blending reggae with jazz, soul, Afrobeat influences. He collaborated with international artists, maintained his Jamaican roots, but expanded his palette. He took breaks when necessary to recharge. He focused on mental health, spirituality, sharpening his songwriting. He surrounded himself with collaborators who respected his vision. Legacy in reggae and culture. Today, Chronixx is part of a reggae revival movement. Young artists cite him as inspiration. He brought reggae back into mainstream consciousness in Europe, the US, Africa. His songs are played in clubs, yoga studios, protest rallies, cafe sound systems, because they carry meaning and vibe. He expanded reggae's audience without diluting its message. He's also become a cultural ambassador, representing Jamaica at global stages, participating in social campaigns, education, environment, youth empowerment. Milestones and achievements albums, awards, sold-out shows across continents, collaborations with known international names, viral performances, festival headlining slots. His ability to stay true to message while scaling audience is rare. Many artists lose themselves when going global. Chronixx retained authenticity. What lies ahead? Looking forward, there's more to come. He may explore genres deeper, produce others, found labels, push reggae even farther. He might mentor the next generation, ensuring this movement continues. He's not just an artist, he's a torchbearer. From a young boy strumming a guitar in St. Andrew to sold-out stages across the globe, Chronixx's journey is proof that music rooted in integrity can still resonate at scale. He walked away from big-money deals to preserve his voice. He fused tradition with innovation, spoke truth in an industry of noise, and most importantly, he carried the hopes of his people with him. So next time you hear "Here Comes Trouble" or "Skankin's Sweet," remember that rhythm, that message. It's more than a song, it's a movement. If this story inspired you, hit like, subscribe, and tell me. Which Chronixx track moved you the most? I'll see you in the next video.